there's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Circuit of the Americas, a rather misty, or should I say Snetterton in England? That's probably more like it. But no, we are in the Lone Star State, and that Lone Star flag, I'm glad it's as big as it is, because without it, we wouldn't be able to see anything. We can just about see the tower. It's a rather misty, foggy morning here in Elroy, Texas, about 10 miles away from the city center of Austin, Texas. And we are about to bring you some of the finest single-seater racing in the US of A, brought to you by the likes of Mission Foods, Lucas Oil, and Honda. And in fact, as a footnote, this is Honda's last race in the FR Championship. And you are looking at the 2023 champion of the Formula Regional Americas Championship, and his name, Callum Hedge. I've been watching him since he was just a little nipper, winning Formula Ford back in New Zealand, from Auckland, New Zealand. His mum's here this weekend to celebrate the fact that he has an amazing 12 wins under his belt, and he is looking to make it 13. Came here with 11 wins at the beginning of the weekend, and a massive 51-point lead over the rest of the field. And it's his teammate, Ryan Sheehan, who's from Austin, Texas, who's been his closest rival throughout that time. And you can just see Ryan in the all-gold 66. Between them, Oliver Wessling. Wessling having a fantastic race yesterday, but I'll get to that in a moment. Going back to Callum Hedge, so he came here with a 51-point lead and really only needed to stay ahead of Ryan, which he did. Ryan had a mechanical issue, ironically similar to the one that Callum Hedge had in VIR, where he was supposed to wrap the championship up and the suspension broke. So that was that. And unfortunately, he brought it to, well, not unfortunately, great for us, because we love to see good, close action. And so, unfortunately for Callum, he didn't finish it at VIR and had to come here with 3 races to go and that 51-point lead. In race 1, though, Callum was sublime. Despite the fact that we had a safety car, he built up a lead of over 5.5 seconds, which was obviously come to naught once that safety car came out. But once it dropped off again and we went racing again for the final run in race 1, Callum Hedge did it conclusively and won the championship. Sadly, Ryan Sheehan finished with just 1 point in 10th position, and that put paid to the overall championship battle. Then we had race 2 yesterday afternoon. Very different conditions to today, as you can see. But the big story there was that Oliver Wessling, the young American Swede, who you're looking at right now, the number 1, the blue, dark and light blue car, representing both Sweden and the USA, did a brilliant job of hounding Callum Hedge all the way to the final corner where he lunged, and as the kids say, he sent it, and got away with it too. He won by 0.05 of a second. So very, very close finish indeed. Now, we had some racing late last night as the sun went down in Formula 4, and there was concern then about the cold conditions. Now, with this fog, as you can imagine, with the sun not pushing through, we are expecting temperatures into the 80s later today. But for now, anyway, early in the morning, 10, 12 Central Time, it's still pretty misty and foggy, and therefore it hasn't lifted yet. And so therefore they're going to have to really work this formation lap to get their tyres up to temperature. An interesting footnote for this weekend is that they've moved the pole position. Scott Goodyear, the race director, and his team have come up with the idea that it's actually better to start from the inside. And if you look at the history of Formula 1 here at the Circuit of the Americas, most of the starts have been won from the inside, which effectively is the second position on the grid. And the reason for that is, like so many tracks, the racing line is on the right-hand side of the track. So once you're up to speed, you want to be on the right-hand side to turn in at the top of the hill, which is Big Red. Or for us, this weekend, it's the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers Turn 1. But it seems that the run up the hill on the inside is a better run, and there's plenty of grip on the inside, according to Callum Hedge, who experienced it yesterday. And therefore, they've put the pole on that side. So let's hope he gets another similar launch, or he'll be pleased to do that. What he doesn't want to do is get a bunch of wheel spin and let the guy on the outside, Oliver Westling, come across him and take the lead right away. You're supposed to have the advantage if you've got the pole position. It's been an interesting season. This is the last race of the year for 2023. A championship that began back in 2018 and it has produced some of the big names of IndyCars and FIA championships ever since. The likes of Hunter Yaney now racing in FIA F3. Kyle Kirkwood, I mentioned, Dakota Dickerson, Linus Lundqvist, and more recently, last year's winner from Great Britain, Raoul Hyman, now racing in Super Formula. It's round 18. Callum Hedge on the right-hand side of your screen in the number 17 has pretty much dominated proceedings, but there's a big reason for Oliver Westling and, more importantly, Ryan Sheehan racing at home to want to finish his season on a high, having taken Callum all the way to COTA. Ryan Sheehan from Austin, Texas, and really would love nothing more. His friends, family, sisters here this weekend, really looking forward to watching him race his final race of the year. On go the lights then. Out they go, and away we go in the mist of Circuit of the Americas as Oliver Westling does get a better start from the outside, but now can he swing shot it round? A lock up there from Ryan Sheehan and Jensen behind him. But everybody's safely through, and it is going to be Callum Hedge who takes the whole shot ahead of Westling. Cole Kleck gets another good start. It's been a great weekend for Kleck, the local man from San Antonio. There he is in, fourth position behind the number 12 of Manuel Rosa from Mexico, who took his first podium yesterday. Family are here to celebrate that with him. Lovely family and good kid. Came and did a bit of commentary. He's got a keen eye for a bit of commentary as well. So Manuel Rosa, look out for him, and as well as another young Mexican driver, Christian Cantu, racing in Formula 4 later this afternoon. So good start from Hedge as he leads them down to 11. He makes a little lock up there, and that's not going to help the tyres early on in this race. There's your 66 of Ryan Sheehan. Sheehan Strong is what they have named his team, or at least his now let's talk about that in a minute, because Ryan's getting a little racy with the number 11 of Cole Kleck. They're side by side as they head towards 12. Kleck's got the better line and will nicely defend that, keeping into the middle of the track. It means that Ryan can't go around the outside and can't jink to the inside. We've got a caution already here in this race, so early days, but if I'm guessing, and I don't know yet, but if I'm guessing, I would say somebody spun it round on cold tyres on this first lap. So out come the flags, and we'll find out very soon as to what that might be. But we're underway, and, well, it's amazing that we're even racing given the conditions, but they're just high enough. As you can see, the fog almost, it's covering the top of the tower, but it's not actually making for invisibility on track. Anyway, we're under caution. We'll have the safety car out. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, I'll try and give you the answer as to why we're under caution. Stay with us. We'll take a short break.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
You've got a business to run, big and heavy products to ship. and customers who need them now. When you've got the right driver and the right equipment, you can bet on a spectacular result. Bennett understands complex logistics and puts the best team, the most time, and the latest technology into every customer relationship. So you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the race. Let us handle the rest.
Together, we can move anything.
Welcome back to the Circuit of the Americas for our Speed Tour here. We're watching FR, Formula Regional. And if you're not sure what that is, that's basically what is known internationally as Formula 3. But of course, regionally, there are Formula 3 championships all around the world, from Oceania to Americas to Europe and so on and so forth. So when you hear the FIA F3 or you hear of someone like Jack Crawford from the USA who's made his way up, hey, come on in.
Has picked up the field, and our color commentator, Landon has been attracted to for the live stream. So he's going to come on down all from us here in the media center, and assisting Jonathan with the call of the live stream as well. So,
just 1 second, I've just received a commentator. I'm absolutely ecstatic. Hang on 1 second, folks. While we're under caution, I'm going to get my young man sorted out and sat and ready.
It's free. Make that mention, PMH, Tony Cabrera, and Cabrera Motorsports Holdings, which sanction all of the races here this weekend. SPRA, of course, the sort of the foundation of that group, and Tony has combined with SEC Pro Racing to take over the promotion of the Trans Am Series as well as the series, which are sanctioned by
Well, guys, sorry about the delay. I'm delighted. I've just received a co-commentator, which I'm always pleased to receive, especially when he's a racing driver. And I am sat next to Landon Matriano Lim, and I'm going to ask you about the origins of your name first and foremost. But you've been out racing in Formula 4. You'll be out later today.
Sure.
How's it going? We're under caution now, so we've got nothing to discuss about the racing. So let's quickly hear about your weekend so far and your experience here.
So I had a bit of a tough weekend. I think the car's a little bit down on power.
Okay.
And here at Circuit of the Americas, you know, you really need as much as you can get, especially on that back straight. But, of course, making the best with what you do, and everything's a learning experience. So I had some amazing battles through race 2, and looking forward to bringing up my race etiquette even more.
So what have you been doing? Where are you from?
So I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Ah, very nice.
Place where the food cannot be beat.
No, yeah, it's very hard to argue with a Cajun about their food. I agree more. I've been to Mardi Gras a few times. I've been to Louisiana, Nolans. See, I'm getting that. Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
I've done all that.
Sir.
How did you find Circuit of the Americas? Obviously, it's got to be awe-inspiring. A Formula One circuit. It was full of like 500,000 people here 2 weeks ago. But still, even when it's not full to capacity, it's got to be quite scary almost. Just how the size of it and how much room you've got to play.
It is. It really is. Whenever I first got here on Wednesday afternoon, walked out onto the paddock and onto pit lane and saw those names on the board, and that's when it really sets in. You're really at a Formula One track, and the fact that I was competing here this weekend just blew my mind.
And is that your ambition? Because this is an FIA championship, both FR and F4, and you're picking up super license points if you can be successful.
Yes, sir, absolutely. My thought whenever I saw those names on the board and whenever I was here, I was excited because I told my parents I will be here when those crowds are in the stadium.
Good for you. That is a great story. How old are you?
I'm 21 years old, so I'm a little bit older for the F4 field.
That's okay. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Some drivers start late, some drivers start early. I'm always amazed to see, we've got a couple of guys in Trans Am who've been racing each other, Connor Zilic and Brent Cruz, and they've been racing each other in karts, went up all the way to the World Championship since they were like 4 years old. And now they're 17, and I have to remind myself that they've got a 10-year record of racing. So it's a long time. But you can catch them up at 21. I've seen a few drivers come good later on. So what is your hope? What's next? You're in Formula 4. Are you going to stay there, or are you going to move up?
I'm planning to move up for next year. Okay. So that's looking great, and I really am thankful for, the experience I've gotten right now to be able to put me up into it. Because FR is a really big step, but it's a place where I want to be.
You haven't driven the car yet?
I've driven it once.
Yes, what do you think?
And it was at New Jersey. And oh my gosh, it is a different world compared to that F4 car. It really is a pure race car.
And the interesting part, for those who want to know, that we mentioned Honda at the beginning, this is their last hurrah, but the Honda engine, and that's why we have the Honda Civic R as our pace car, is all using the Civic engine. In F4, it's the regular Civic engine, and here in FR, it's the turbo version. So everybody says, oh, the hard part in learning FR is to get used to the turbo lag. How was that for you?
The turbo lag was very interesting. Whenever it first kicked in, it took off like a rocket. It really pushed my head back. I was not expecting it.
There you go.
But it is fun getting used to a slightly different style of driving with that turbo lag, and you can really put down the power. It just feels amazing.
And I would have thought physically quite harder too, because it's a heavier car, it's got the halo, and so on and so forth. So there's a few things you've got to get used to, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The visibility is a bit less in that car, but like you said, it's a heavier car. So you do have to be more physically fit to drive those FR cars.
Have you been watching this Flying Kiwi all season? He's had a remarkable year.
Absolutely. It's so impressive to watch. So I'm really curious to see what he's going to do coming up to next year. And it'll be very entertaining to see what he does with his opportunity.
I've never seen a guy who's gone from his home, city of Auckland, and who, let's face it, produced some great racing drivers, but have so many choices in such a small space of time. He was runner-up in the Toyota FR Oceania series, and now winner here. He also has done the Carrera Cup in Australia and still vying for the championship there, and has got a chance for Super Cup there. He's got the scholarship, obviously, with Honda, winning the championship. But talk about the world at your feet. And he's got, 10,000, 15,000 kilometers under his belt from this year alone.
Exactly. Yeah, it's thoroughly impressive what he's done and what, like you said, the amount of opportunities that he has. But it's great because that's what you want. You want all your options to be open, and it looks like that's what he's keeping.
Landon, as we come back to this restart, because as you can see the safety car is coming in, just explain to our audience what it's like to go up that full 133 feet as you go for a restart here.
You got to make sure your tires are nice and warm before going up that hill, and it is quite an intimidating climb. The cameras do not do it justice.
No, you're absolutely right. When you're that low down, you really can't see the crest, can you?
You truly can't. You're just hoping to get your brake marker and come over that hill right to the apex, and it looks like there's a big battle.
Yeah, Cole Kleck has been the story of the weekend for me, outside of, obviously, Callum Hedge. He's side by side now with the runner-up in the championship, and that, of course, is Ryan Sheehan from Austin, Texas. Kleck, though, gets through and now goes in pursuit of Manuel Rosa, the young Mexican driver. So these two have had some good battles already this weekend, and we're looking for more from them. So good start, despite the mist. And we're also going to keep an eye on this Oliver Westling-Callum Hedge fight. They had a great battle yesterday, and it was won by Westling in the last corner.
Very last corner.
And I know that Hedge, he's got his mum here this weekend, does not want anybody to get past him here in this final race. With 18 minutes to go, if I know Callum Hedge, he's going to go out for glory. And he's already, I can see, pulling away at the front. How, like when we see this, like Kleck and Sheehan. Now, we're looking for the slipstream, so that's why they're moving around, yeah?
Yes, absolutely. They're trying to stay in the slipstream as long as possible before they jolt out.
He's got it then.
And it looks like Sheehan's down inside, defending, but Kleck goes around him.
That is good work from Kleck. Yeah, he jinked out. Sheehan tried to defend, but there's only so much you can do, because once you get that slipstream, you've got, another 10 mile an hour?
Absolutely. It helps you fly by, especially in these F4 cars.
We're also keeping an eye on the man behind them, Everett Stack. He's just moved up. You talked about moving up from F4. I think you can get inspiration from Cole Kleck and from Everett Stack. They've equipped themselves really well, leaving in the middle of a season and then going up.
Absolutely, yeah. That is just a fantastic thing to see, and to see where they're running at in the series is awesome.
Where will you start your final race this afternoon?
I believe I am P18 for the start, so I've got some work to do at the start.
You've got some work to do.
I do have some work to do, but luckily I've got some good race pace, and I'm very comfortable being alongside other cars and battling. So I think I can really put some good work to that.
Well, Hedge is hoping this time, big lock up there by the 11, Cole Kleck, and that's going to play into Ryan Sheehan's hands. He'll see that this could be the opportunity. But Callum Hedge starting to stretch his legs a little. The gap now 1.3 seconds from Westling. You can see it for yourself as they go through the S's, the Hankook S's here. at Coda. Meanwhile, Kleck under massive pressure from the 66 after that lockup. And I know Ryan Sheehan will want to finish at least on the podium if he can't win the race. And it's always the time of the year. It's like end of school. You want to finish on a high. You want to get an A in your final
exactly.
paper.
Yes, which is a bit disappointing for Becklin. You know, no one wants to finish their last race without the car being over the finish line. But it looks like the rest are doing really hard to fight their battle. And
that's the 22. That's Hayden Bowlesby, who's had his first podium here this weekend. Just nudging his nose through there. Hayden's been around for a few seasons, but he's now starting to really show. Also welcoming back Jake Bonilla, who's making his debut in FR this weekend. The man from San Antonio. Been watching his career. Great to have him on board. He did a good season of F4, and now he is up in FR. So everybody jostling for position. Stack and the 22 of Bowlesby in their battle. So we've got distinct battles behind them. Hewitt from Houston, Texas, Bonilla from San Antonio, Jansen 10th, and Becklin, Cooper Becklin, all the way down. I don't know what's happened to Cooper, but he's not got a lap time in, so Cooper probably didn't start by the looks of it. So I don't know why, but one of our former winners and Crosslink Kiwis third overall in the championship. They are 1, 2, and 3 in the championship, but Cooper not out there at the moment. So what's Landon Matriano Lim? I know that's a racing name. That's good. You got
Yes,
it.
sir, yes, sir.
Juan Manuel Fangio, Landon Matriano Lim. You see, it all clicks nicely. What's the story? Where are you from? What's that name from?
So my great-grandfather was Chinese.
Ah, okay.
And he had a Filipino friend. So to get out of the war in China, he used his Filipino friend's name to move to the Philippines.
That's a great story.
So Matriano is Filipino,
yes, of course,
and Lim is Chinese.
Yeah.
And we've kept that name because it just meant so much to him to be able to have a friend like that, and he used his name in his honor to get out of China. So that's the background for the name.
You see, I can see that at Indianapolis at the 500 in qualifying. Matriano Lim with a 129. Yeah, see,
I have to have a racing name.
Yeah, you've got to have a racing name. See, Jonathan Green's rubbish. I have to change that. I've gone for my Juan Verde. That's my race name. Let's get back to it. Hedge now increasing his lead to 2.5 seconds. Westling just throwing through shot there. Rosa in third. Then this is the battle. Kleck, Sheehan, and Bowlesby. Now, Landon, if you were, let's say, the 22 of Bowlesby, we're looking at him right now, how do you get ahead of this group of three and where?
It seems like he might have a new tire advantage because it seems that his lap times are just a bit quicker than the rest. But using this draft behind both of these cars here is a great strategy. And if anything, to leave Sheehan to jump inside the inside there and then overtake both when they both get a bad run coming out of 12.
Yeah, Sheehan showed his nose there, but didn't, you could tell from the sort of the car that he wasn't 100% sure he was going to get through, and he didn't want to blow it. And that's been the story of Sheehan all season, which is he's quietly gone about his business. He doesn't make lunges. He's not overly aggressive. He's not putting on a show for everybody. He's consistent. And the truth is, there is a man who won 4 world championships by the name of Alain Prost who did exactly that. He said, I like to win races as slow as I can because that keeps the equipment together and that's what gets you the results. And not everybody believed it. Certainly Senna didn't, his arch rival at the time. Yes. But no, and that's what Sheehan's proven. He's only won 2 races this season, but he's been on the podium each and every weekend until literally this weekend. And then the championship was won and lost just on that first race. Here he goes. Now, thinking about it again. Oh, now he goes.
That was a late dive down to the inside of turn 1.
Maybe a little too late.
He
needed to let that go a little bit. And, well, at least he's shown a little bit of a sign, and Bowlesby's woken up to that opportunity as well. Here they come again through the Hankook S's. So we've got a cracking battle here. Cole Kleck from San Antonio hasn't driven this car since mid-Ohio, so really impressive weekend for him, and he just seems to have clicked as Kleck, so to speak.
Sure has.
And I really have been really impressed. He's actually got 2 sisters, I've heard, twin sisters who both race, which has got to be a tough family to be in. Imagine being at breakfast trying to get the cereal first.
Everything's
highly
fast-paced
competitive.
for them.
And if I know, if he's got sisters, I've got a sister, they're more competitive than boys. Now, Bowlesby all over Sheehan as they come out of 12. Again, I'm going to put you in Bowlesby's seat. How does he get past Sheehan at least here?
Absolutely. You want to be all in his mirrors. You want to stay in the draft, but he knows you're there. He knows you can make that move. So if anything, you just want to put that pressure on him. It looks like Sheehan's also getting a run and Kleck defends. So this might be the opportunity Bowlesby needs if they both run each other wide.
He's just got it. Oh, that's nicely turned in by Ryan. That was good. And he's got good drive heading towards 13. We've seen some overtakes around the outside, and that's exactly what Ryan Sheehan's trying to pull off here. But inside goes Bowlesby, and Bowlesby may take Sheehan. Sheehan comes back at him as they come into 14. Side by side, and they spin
Bowlesby
round.
spins.
Bowlesby's out. Well, he was just on a part of the track he's not used to being on, and I think, I'm going to cross my fingers here for Ryan, that his car did get a touch, but not any damage.
It looks like Bowlesby is still waiting there to get his car back around. I hope he can get that restarted.
We saw the flames coming out of the exhaust there, but it wasn't a fire. It's just exhaust flames from, I'm sure, the fuel being unloaded into that part of the car when he spun round. But there is Sheehan.
It looks like his wing is slightly tilted
just
there
a bit
coming
bent,
down the straight.
That will slow him down if he's trying to get a slipstream, and it'll also give Cole Kleck, yeah, it is damaged, yeah. It's down on the left-hand front side, and he's locking up.
It's causing a big lockup into one.
They could bring him in for that too, because what you don't want to do, and I don't know if it's happened to you, but what you don't want to do is lose the wing underneath the car, because then you've got really no steering at that point.
Yes, that would be absolutely horrible.
So Hedges built a gap by 3.8 seconds. I said he would do that, and he has done just that. I think the 66 may well, he'll be desperate to finish this race, though. The whole family here spoke to his mom, spoke to his dad yesterday. Very disappointed, obviously. It's been a long season. But it was inevitable, and he's taken it on the chin. And I think the good news is that both Hedge, Westling, and Ryan Sheehan have got big careers ahead of them.
Absolutely. You can see it with their driving, and you can see it in the consistency.
Stack and Bonilla going good. 6th and 7th already. They've got away from Hewitt, and they're moving up just behind Sheehan now, who could lose out to both of them if he can't keep going. But we'll keep an eye on him. Here's the 12 of Rosa. Manuel Rosa came and did a bit of commentary like yourself. Nice kid. Met his mum and dad, and really enjoying his first major season at the FR level. Just felt that the competition in Mexico wasn't as high as it is here, so good idea to get involved in the USA. I think he's coming back to do another full season if he can, get the budget together for next year. Got a lot of fans back at home.
Looks like there's a good spacing between everyone out there in the field.
Yeah, going to say we've got 2 or 3 seconds between, if not more, between most of the top 4 now, so the field's spreading out. We'll take a look at Hedges' times. I'm just looking at his last lap, a 2:05.8 compared to Westling's 2:06.5. So he is up the road. In fact, that was his best lap on lap 8. So Hedges actually putting the hammer down now. 4.5 seconds. So that looks like Hewitt going through.
Well, there's a big battle between Everett Stack
and Max Hewitt. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. No.
Oh, that is
20.
Bonilla.
Yeah, that's Bonilla. Yeah.
And a dive to the inside by Everett Stack in a 1. Let's see if he can hold it.
So Jake Bonilla doing a really good job in the grey and yellow. And they're side by side through too. That's risky business, I can assure you.
Very. Coming into the S's, we'll have to see who comes out on top. Someone has to give here.
Lannon, what's the hardest part of this track? Everybody talks about it, about enjoying it, but what's the hardest part to learn or easily get wrong?
The braking coming down the back straight.
Yep.
Very easy to brake a little bit too late or just brake too early.
And outbrake yourself, yeah. But yeah, that's the key corner though, isn't it? It's certainly one of them. And what about the top of turn 1?
Top of turn 1, I actually find that turn very, very fun.
There you go.
And very smooth. When you hit it right, you definitely feel it.
Well, Jake Bonilla having a great finish to his season. Remember, this is the last hurrah for the 2023 season. It's been a long one, and it started back at NOLA in New Orleans and just outside New Orleans itself. Have you been to NOLA?
I sure have. That's my home track, so I absolutely love that place.
Well, back then, Ryan Sheehan got 2 wins, and then Callum Hedge took the 3rd. We then went on to Road America, and then it became a bit of a fest for Callum because he won all 3 races there. He then went on to Mid-Ohio, did the same again there, and then Westling got a win at New Jersey, and Callum got 2. And then he got 2 more at VIR and lost out to Cooper Becklin, who got a win there. So not many winners outside of Callum Hedge, who's now taken 12, looking for 13, and this would be lucky 13 for him. But he is in total control of this race.
Absolutely. The pace he has is just insane, and the fact that he can just keep that gap and keep growing that gap to show his dominance even more.
Well, he took the championship at 3 in the morning in Auckland, New Zealand, and I called up a good friend of mine who's in the motor racing world, and they were well aware that Callum Hedge had taken the championship. In fact, they announced it live on one of their local races at one of his sponsors, Highlands Motorsport Park. So that's emblazoned on the side and owned by Tony Quinn. And Tony Quinn Foundation also backing him, as is Giltrap. And there is a group of sponsors back in New Zealand who have played a huge part in making Callum's dreams come true. And he's just following a long line of great Kiwis.
Absolutely, and it's great to have that backing for him. Something to really push for even more.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you say it's a disadvantage coming from the other side of the world, from a small country, you know, like Scotland or New Zealand, but there are also advantages because the community there is much smaller. You look at the size of the states, and you've got pockets with Florida and, you know,
different regions.
Absolutely, yeah. What's the race scene like in Louisiana? Is it growing with NOLA?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. The people at NOLA are my second family.
They used to be here.
Yes. So I absolutely love the racing community, and that's what makes racing so good half of the time, is just having all these people out here and hanging and all having this one thing in common, is watching race cars or being in them.
That's cool. It's great to see these tracks popping up now, and COTA actually has foisted many a career around. Jason Rittenbury, who was here for a while, now runs the Nashville event, and Eric Pardis is also working in Tennessee, and David Pace, of course, at NOLA, and Erin Close, who used to look after me in the Formula One events when she was working here at COTA. So, you know, lots of great names, and then Roberta in Laguna Seca. I'll probably see her in a few weeks. You know, it's great that having to work at a place like COTA, where you're getting the biggest events in the world, can really help, and then now they're spreading out around the USA. So time running out here with 4 minutes to go, but it's not running out for Hedge. He can be out there all day the way things are going. He's flying back to New Zealand tonight, and looking forward to that, and he'll look forward to it even more with a big old trophy sat on his knee. 6.7 seconds the gap now to Westlink. Rosa, who we were just looking at, is trying to hold off Kleck, but Kleck's some distance behind, so Kleck probably will be happy just to hold on to 4th place for now.
It looks like Ryan Sheehan has a problem. He has not come back around on the timing line yet.
Yeah, I've got a feeling he'll have pulled in with that wing, or they'll have told him to come in because he doesn't want to damage the car. The last thing you want to do go for Christmas is not be able to buy you Christmas presents because you're paying bills.
Very true.
But, yeah, it's been a good season for Ryan. I've been watching him since January because he did go to New Zealand and challenged Callum Hedge there. But Callum was right at the sharp end fighting for that championship and has done the same here again. And as teammates, it's been an interesting year between the pair of them. Just another phenomenal year, though, for Crosslink Kiwi, who, again, have dominated the season's top 3 in the championship. We're looking at Cole Kleck from San Antonio, coming into the series this weekend, having only done Mid-Ohio before that. So it's really a real learning curve for him. But in the first race, I was really impressed with his racecraft.
Absolutely. I think everyone out here was. Yeah. Everyone was watching him and seeing what he could do, and he made that car 3 times wider than it should have been.
Really happy for Jake Bonilla, too. Look, he's put himself behind this man in 5th position. So Bonilla has gone from not the back, but not far off, and moved himself up to 5th place for the end of this race. In fact, he's still under pressure. I could just see out of the corner of my eye at 15 that Bonilla and Stack are still in their battle for that 5th position. With 2 minutes to go, we'll probably get the white flag fairly soon, if not this lap, the next one. And Hedge increasing that lead, last time out at 2:06.6. In fact, Westling got his fastest lap last time out at 2:06.3, so he's still on the pace. As you can see, Sheehan's got the new nose cone. He's been in and out. And that's why you don't see the famous 66 there, because he's just come into the pits and gone out again and put a spare one on. So good move from Sheehan. He'll probably try to see if he can get a fastest lap in now while he's on his own, but he's at the back now. started off in karting, as so many of you do. He had a huge crash that almost ended his career there and then. And he's done a great job, to be honest, of building himself back up to having the confidence to race these powerful machines and getting himself into F4 and then FR. And runner-up is no mean feat in a national championship, and certainly keeps an eye on you. I know how hard it is for. I look at the 20. You know, I joke about the fact that drive to survive is, you know, they call that about Formula One, but really F4 is the drive to survive. It's so hard. Oh, big lock up from Westling. He's pushing on and he's trying to close down. He's definitely closed down a little bit, but the gap's still 6.5. He's taken a couple of tenths out of it, but that lock-up's not going to help him. This is not the same as yesterday where he was all over the back, and I spoke to Callum afterwards and he said he had some sort of issue. I couldn't quite work out what he was saying, but he was just not feeling that the car was 100%, and that's why he was under pressure as much as he was, so he just wasn't racing as hard as he could. But you could see the gap for yourself as Callum is now just entering into turn 20. There he is.
I did hear yesterday that it was the wheel bearing that was starting to come loose on Hedges' car there, and it looks like we have the white flag and they're off to their final lap.
Yep, it's going to be a nice little swan song lap. One of the greatest circuits in the world. A young 19-year-old Formula champion on his way from Auckland, New Zealand, following in the footsteps of Marcus Armstrong, who also is now in Indy, Liam Lawson in Formula One, and a host of other great Kiwis. I remember Brendan Hartley started off this way in these Formula cars. Now a world champion in his own right. And in fact, another one, Earl Bamber, that's who he works for in Australia in the Carrera Cup, Callum Hedge. I'm sure he'll be very proud of what Callum has achieved in such a short space of time. He's gone from a Formula Ford championship to a Tinton championship with Toyota 86, then he moved up to the FR Oceania championship, runner-up in that this year, in fact. To Charlie Wirtz of Austria, the son of the Formula One Alexander Wirtz. And since then, he's not looked back, and he has totally dominated proceedings. He's going to go now, if he finishes this lap anyway, down in history as the third most successful driver in the championship after Kyle Kirkwood and Linus Lundqvist. Not bad, eh?
Absolutely.
Both of those guys now in IndyCar. So if that doesn't give you an inspiration, nothing will.
It is very good to see what he's trying to follow up on, and it's definitely evident, especially in this final race of the season on the final lap.
Landon, what's your hope? You were saying you want to be here when there's a full crowd here, but does that mean for Formula One?
It does not. I'm keeping all my options open. I've got a taste of endurance racing this year, and absolutely love it. In a NASA prototype. So it was in the WRL series in the GTU class.
Well done. Well, it's always good to spread your wings. Talking of wings, here he comes. Who said Kiwis can't fly? Callum Hedge. Remember the name. He's on his way to fame and fortune. Here he comes from Auckland, New Zealand in the number 17. He's going to take win number 13. And he is the luckiest guy in town as he heads home with the championship and yet another win here. 2 for the weekend out of 3. Isn't bad, and a podium along with it with a second place. He slows right down to take the applause. He's going to do some donuts for us. Why not? NASCAR style. He's really enjoyed it. When he first arrived at NOLA, he didn't know what he was getting himself into because that was his first experience of America. No one could understand his accent. No one could. He couldn't understand anybody else's accent. So he struggled a little bit at first, but he's enjoyed it. He particularly likes Road America. And he's driven some of the best circuits. Hasn't done Bathurst yet, but he's done the streets of the Gold Coast, and he's raced all the iconic circuits that FR go to, of course, including here at the Circuit of the Americas. He loves this circuit and the design and the way it's laid out, but it's a great win. Your number, car number?
I am number 2.
So number 2, Landon Matriano Lim from Louisiana. He's starting 18th. He's promising me he's going to finish in the top 10.
That's what we're working for. Yes, sir.
And hoping to go FR next year, right? So
that is the goal.
What are your sponsors at the moment?
Do not have any sponsors at the moment.
Then get an advocate.
Always looking for some opportunities.
Get your social. Tell us your social, and let's get behind you. Come on.
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, LandonML, and that is Landon with 2 A's, Landan.
Okay, great. Well, we'll follow you, and we'll see you next season, but we'll see you this afternoon at 12:45. That is in a few hours' time, but let's just celebrate and savour what is a great moment for this young man, Callum Hedge. Great that his mum's come to enjoy it. She didn't go to that many races when he was winning in New Zealand. She's busy, but she's made the trip here to see her boy do the business, and it's delightful to have her. Had a quick chat with her this morning.
Absolutely. She's here to watch him solidify that championship, and in the best way possible.
No better way to do it. Here's confirmation of the result then. Callum Hedge for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport wins ahead of Jensen's Oliver Westling in second, the Swede. Manuel Rosa of Mexico takes third for Crosslink as well. Cole Clegg of Texas takes Speed Factory to fourth. Jake Bonilla, another San Antonio boy, takes fifth. Again for Crosslink. Hayden Bolsby, 6th. Everett Stack, 7th. Max Hewitt from Houston takes 8th. Kevin Jansen takes 9th. And Ryan Sheehan, having replaced that front nose cone, finishes in 10th, as he did at the first race of the weekend. Well, my thanks to Landon Matriano Lim. We'll be watching you. Thank you for coming in. Lastminute.com, but appreciate it. I thought I was going to be on my own, but it's been delightful chatting to you and learning a little bit more about you. And 21-year-old on his way up, so watch out for him. And he's in the number 2. Good number to have.
Absolutely. I thought 1 was a little too much.
Yeah. Well, you got a target on you back then. Everybody's
Very
like
true.
going, that guy must have won something.
Exactly.
So I got to beat him. So in a moment, we'll send John Phippen out and get amongst it to interview our winners. I hope this fog clears up fairly soon, but as you can see, it's lifting gradually. And we've got enough vision where we can go racing and keep it safe. I think you'll enjoy this FR car. I think as the future gets with the new F4 car, I think that's going to be fun from Ligier. I saw it out in VIR in the hands of Ryan Yardley last time out. Yeah, it's definitely lifting. When we started this race, you could hardly see that flag, so that's good
Hey, there's
news.
actually people on the tower as well, so maybe
Yeah,
there's some visibility.
I don't know what you can see from up there on a day like today, but hey, what the heck. It's Manuel Rosa. Looking for big sponsors for next year. And a good way to get him is to get a couple of podiums under his belt, and that's exactly what he's done. Well done to him. And you can see he's pretty happy.
Absolutely. It's his second podium, correct?
Yep. It's his second podium ever at this level, yeah.
Pulling through, and what a way to end the weekend for him as well.
Callum Hedge had a lot of fun this year. He's been selling the Crocs. He's been trying to get a sponsorship from Crocs since January. And he's got all the widgets. He's got a Ferrari widget, a Porsche widget, and he's got them all. And he thinks he's going to wear it for the dinner, the gala dinner tonight. So,
Are you sure he doesn't already have them on?
He could. He said he might jump out now and have those Crocs on. But I think I told him he should get painted on the side. There he is, the lean, tall figure of Callum Hedge. Great kid. And a lot of fun to be around. He's funny. He's very laid back. There you go. Got sponsorship from CareVets, from Tony Quinn Foundation. You can see on the wing there, from Giltrap. And it just gets better and better. There's Mum. Well done. Mum and Dad, great to see them.
It's exactly what you want to see, what you want to have coming into that race.
Yep. So, in a moment, John Phippen, who I believe has already picked up the mic. We'll get to him as soon as that. Tasman, of course. Don't forget that sponsorship. Well, let's head down now to John Phippen because the helmet is off. Gary Orton is there to greet him. Tasman Motorsport have supported him, and he's done it in style. 13 wins. A charm indeed for young Callum Hedge. He's with John.
Thanks, Johnny. We've got our winner here. 13 is a lucky number this time. That's the number of wins you've got, Callum. It looked this one pretty easy with that new wheel bearing on the right rear.
Yeah, it was a little bit better than the second half of that last race. Put the wheel bearing back on, and it was pretty good. Big thanks to Paul for all his work the last few rounds. The car's been really fast, and also big thanks to the team, Kiwi Motorsport, for giving me the equipment to do it. Big thanks to the people that make this happen for me, Tony Quinn Foundation, Giltrap Group, and Tasman Motorsport Group. Can't thank them enough.
There's your champion and 13-time winner, Jonathan.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that, and it's been a great fairy tale story for you. If you want to see a classic story of how to make it in motor racing. And you know what's great about him? I asked him what he's doing over the New Zealand summer, and he's going back to help some of the up-and-coming next hedges in the 86 championship, a championship he won a few years ago. So that just shows you he is dedicated and just a great guy to have in the paddock because he's always there to help out. Well, my thanks to Landon Matriano Lim. Thank you for coming in. We're going to be back with all of our SVRA and Formula 4 coverage, and that starts at about 12:45 today, local time central. Watch out for Landon and the rest of that big field. Until then, from me, Jonathan Green, we'll take that break, and we'll be back with the F4 race at 12:45.
Everything in our garage is inspired by our racing spirit. Race in for a great deal on the Honda CR-V. Only at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event.